Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 2 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma. And this was just another hilarious balls-to-the-wall episode. Everything is so over the top, and I mean the dream sequences were opening up on the Lady Arena once again, judging someone's dish that they've prepared, and she's like in a hot spring, and suddenly there's this gorilla staring at her, kind of, tantalizingly and such, and it's absolutely hilarious. I love all of the scenarios that you see going on sort of in the imaginations of these characters. And you have Soma basically on the phone to his father being told this is the academy he has to apply for. And he's kind of off-put by the entire idea because, number one, I mean, he's been told he can't operate their, restaurant and everything, and he has to go through this situation to see if he really has talent and if he can live up to his father's culinary expertise and artistry, if you will. And, it's like adding insult to injury, finding out that his father's actually over in New York City. He's working at this big, posh, grand hotel, and he's even got, like these sort of Hare Krishnas or whatever they are, completely, the leader of which is throwing away his entire life's calling to his religion and beliefs just to taste Soma's father's cooking again and everything. And you have a sort of heavy-set guy who's got to watch out for his blood pressure, and he's getting all excited about Soma's father's cooking, and it's just insane and hilarious. And I thought it was really, there was that sort of little footnote after Soma has hung up on his father, basically being told that you have no hope of ever attaining my level of culinary genius unless you master this scenario going to the academy and such. Basically he's talking to himself the lesson he wanted to impart to his own son. And I thought it was, very sort of thought-provoking, as well as just sort of tugging at the heartstrings a little bit, because you get the sense that the mother passed away some time ago and the father isn't over that. I mean, you're never quite over it if you lose family member, and I have lost several, so I can attest to that. But I just really, the compassion in that idea, finding someone special in life to cook for, who you want every bite of the food you create for them to be absolutely perfect and something that they will love and enjoy. You're doing it for someone else. I just thought that was a really, fantastic sort of footnote that the father really wanted to impart to his son. But of course, we get back to the absurdity and the over-the-top hilarity, which was no, sort of problem for me, because it was making me laugh every other minute. Basically Soma's being involved in all of this, it's like all of these elitist, restaurateurs and stuff like that, entrepreneurs and everything, the sons of these big families that have, so much stock in cooking and restauranting and everything. And he ends up accidentally kicking a bench that some elitist sort of preppy kid is sitting on. And at first he's really friendly to Soma, and he's like, oh, so where are you from? And, oh, by the way, that person over there, he's, the family, their family owns this chain of restaurants. This guy's over, his main sort of expertise is fish, or whatever it is like that. And finally, he asks Soma where he hails from, restauranting-wise, food preparing-wise. And he's like, oh, it's just kind of a diner down there. He doesn't even get to finish the sentence. The kid kicks him off the bench and is like, you can't even breathe my air. You shouldn't even be sitting on this bench with me. Very elitist and derogatorily looking down on Soma. And everyone has that attitude. It's as if they've all overheard this conversation. And they are all judging him supremely. It's almost heartbreaking because he already has that sense of defeat. He says to himself, this is really not looking good, and I've only just gotten here. So then you have the Lady Arena. She is going to be effectively judging, it's her palate, the god tongue, it's earned the nickname of, to judge, people's sort of first dish. She's made it that, that's how it's going to play out. Rather than taking tests, rather than sitting down and having a sort of interview and getting to know these potential students, she's just like, make me a dish and it has to involve eggs. If you impress me, you're in. Otherwise, get the hell out. And everybody, even this preppy, a-hole that was being very demeaning and judgmental to Soma, they all are running out like scared little schoolgirls and such, and it's absolutely highfalutin hilarity. And of course, Soma has such a chip on his shoulder, not knowing the the fact that the backstory of this lady Arina, the god tongue and everything, as the elitist preppy tells him. At 3 months old, she was already, sort of judging and reviewing in a very negative fashion her mother's breast milk. Those were her first words. Just hilarious. So he's like, yeah, screw that. I know I can live up to the challenge. I can make a just gorgeous, beautiful dish that will bring this woman to ecstasy like we've seen in the previous episode. He has done already. And he makes this egg dish, and he's got this sort of, it's like transforming seasoning or something that he calls it, because he's utilizing this gelatinous sort of byproduct of, chicken or fish or whatever. And he's adding it to rice, and he's got the egg in there, and it's the seasoning and, scallions atop and everything. Once again, scallions or something along those lines to add sort of the flavor. And I love that they're actually giving you insights into these dishes, as though, if you kind of learn the recipes and such, you could potentially make them on your own in the real world. But so she's kind of like put off by the idea that, he would step to her and look down upon her own elitist status. And we see that this is all being sort of eavesdropped upon by a character in silhouette. More on that in a moment. But, she's also very, very close with her sort of assistant, pseudo-assistant in any case. She's getting all up in her face and like, oh, you want to taste my cooking? Again, I'm laughing. I'm dying at just the absurdity and the hilarity that's going on. So, of course, she does taste the dish, and she is brought to a level of ecstasy that sees her imagining, once again, one of these inside the mind of the characters, all of these little Somas that are angels and are whipping her with little angel feathers. And it's like, he did it. I was like, hell yes, you're damn right. But then the bomb drop, the twist in the episode toward the end is she calls it disgusting. She lies because of that chip on her shoulder, how self-important she is, to herself, to the job, to living up to that name, the god tongue. How dare he not see the value in that and not see that he is just a commoner, And so she completely blatantly lies, sends him packing, and we see him stunned. And I'm stunned. I'm like, wow, I did not see that coming. I didn't think that's the way it was going to go at all. What is going to happen next? I truly want to know. And of course, toward the very tail end, after the credits and everything, we see that this old man, who I think is probably the grandfather that, Arina was talking about as sort of like the headmaster of the school or whatever, I think that's who he is meant to be. Because she would then have to report back to this person and say, nobody passed the entrance exam, which, again, is a blatant lie in Soma's case. But he sneaks into the kitchen where the food is left over, and he tastes it, and he, rips off half his tunic, and he's, laughing, and he's completely destroying the, sort of impression that says failed, as far as Soma's, the paperwork, whether he was approved or failed. It said failed on it because of Arina's choice, and he crumples it as though to maybe hint that Soma is not, out for the count as far as this academy goes. And so I love it. I absolutely love this show. It's just, again, highfalutin hilarity. And I like the little elements cherry-picked throughout, kind of like the seasoning in the dish that he prepares of those heartening aspects with the father talking about the mother and finding someone special to cook for and prepare food for. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 2 of Shokugeki no Soma, if you've seen it, and, if it's living up to sort of the source material without, giving any spoilers and such. I always ask that because I'm not familiar with it, and, but are you a fan of this series, all told? And if not, let me know in the comments below as well, because anything goes in the forum. I love having the discussion. So otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.